Hello, I'm Kristen Lee, and this is the Never-Ending TBR in Kristen's Corner. So I had a pretty long, for me, video prepped, ready, and it took forever for YouTube. Like, it kept spitting it back at me. It was basically an eternity later was going to happen. So I was just like, you know what? We're gonna throw our horns on. We're gonna put our little vampire teeth that only I can see and we're gonna do this video again, and we have our electronic friend timing me for 15 minutes. So my original video was about Interview with the Vampire, and I've been coming across on Halloween pages and book pages and Instagram posts and stuff of people that are looking to dive into Anne Rice books, and they don't know if they're going to like it, and they want to start the show. Should they read the book first and then watch the show? They like the movie, you know, should they? The way that I feel about it is that it's been around. The book, the original Interview with the Vampire, has been around for 48 years. So the choice is yours as a reader. I did find this woman while I was waiting for YouTube to just give me the green light and post my video. And she is a new to Anne Rice reader. And she gives an in-depth from book to movie in one video, and then she also gives a book to TV. I did not agree with her with some of the things, but she's new and I am an OG Vampire Chronicles girly. So I have about 25 to 30 years of books, you know, and I'm 15 years apart from it. I stopped reading them whenever Lestat found Jesus and a mummy. I don't know. I tapped out. I couldn't, even with how descriptive Anne Rice's writing is, it didn't intrigue me. I could not. I've tried a few times. Anyway, moving on. So in my original video, I explained how it was introduced, which I met Anne Rice through the Rosie O'Donnell show, and I think she was promoting either the play The Vampire Lestat, which Elton John wrote the music for, which I'm hoping will be in season 3, or just a version of the song. I don't know, like, it'd be really cool if they took a little bit of it. Anyway, but that's how I learned about her, and I learned about Interview with the Vampire, the movie, and all the different cast members that I was starting to get into, like how movies were made and things like that, because I'm fascinated. I love behind the scenes reels and stuff. Yeah, hold on one second. God bless me. Anyway, so that's how I got introduced. I read the first 3 books, I want to say the end of my high school, and then Anne Rice and I were clutch my 20s on. So I love the world. I love the Vampire Chronicles over the Mayfair Witches, but the Mayfair Witches have their own place in my little black heart. You know, there are certain scenes that live rent-free in my head. And the same thing for Vampire Chronicles. Originally, from what I remember, is the TV show was going to be called the Talamasca Files, or something similar to that. Which I thought would be cool, because then they could take different vampires and ghosts and, you know, different parts of the Anne Rice world and just do an episode about that character and give more of an in-depth, you know, episode, I guess, to that character. But instead they went with Interview with the Vampire, and they also went with the Mayfair Witches. I wish that they had called Interview with the Vampire Chronicles, because the show pulls from later books. And what I noticed when I was watching, the woman that I'm going to link her YouTube in the description, is that she was going strictly from the book to the show. So she didn't know that Daniel Malloy is a character in later parts. And so the stuff that I found really, really cool, a new to Anne Rice reader wouldn't understand. So that was kind of eye-opening for me, listening to what this woman had to say. Anyway, book to movie, they scraped a lot of the book out. There are parts that I like that were either not in the book. I love the part where Tom Cruise is dancing with the woman. If you know, you know. And I like the fact that there were scary parts in the movie, because when you read the books, it's like a classic horror movie book kind of feel to it. You have that very gothic feel to it. So the movie, like, it used to be one of my favorite movies until this show came out, and the actors that play the characters are doing top-notch performances. So I just love them. I'm gonna be really, really quick. Louis is not my favorite character in the book. I didn't really, like, I tolerated Brad Pitt's version. But Jacob Anderson, yes, knocks it out of the park. There was a lot of issue with the fact that they upped the timeline from the book in the TV show. I want to say about 100 years. So they made Louis younger than he was in the book, but I found him more interesting, and this actor took it and made it his own. There was discrepancy about his race being different, but after reading books like The Yellow Wife and learning a little bit about Hamilton and different leaders at the time that Anne Rice wrote Interview with the Vampire, it's not totally not possible that he couldn't have been mulatto or light-skinned. It's not, but if you're an OG person, you've always thought of Louis as being this very, very pale white guy with green eyes and, you know, brown hair. But it didn't bother me. I love Jake's performance. The chemistry between him and Sam is phenomenal. Who else? Claudia is played by two ladies. The first one was Bailey Bass, and the other one was Delaney Hayes. Bailey Bass, I love the fact that they aged her up. You kind of had to. In the book, she's 5, and she was written that way because Anne Rice personally lost a child. Well, she didn't lose the child. The child had passed on, and she was in grieving her daughter, so Claudia represented her daughter. And, you know, how would it be for a 5-year-old to be trapped in that body, but to grow into a full-grown woman emotionally and mentally? So it was weird, but I was a teenager when I read it. It was still weird with Kirsten Dunst, but these ladies, they gave her an actual part in the book, and they showed, they just gave her depth. I really loved how they did it. I liked Delaney Hayes better, but that's because I really like how Claudia has more of a presence, and she kind of blossoms more in the book when they go to Paris. So I loved how they wrote her being part of the troupe and having a part in the plays and the multimedia in the plays, and I love that. So I think they're doing they did fantastic. I wish they were coming back. It'd be kind of cool if they did come back. I don't remember if Claudia's spoken about in the Vampire Lestat book. It's been a while since I've read it. Who else? Sam Reed. I was going to leave him for last, but you know what? We're going to talk about him. He is perfect, because the biggest thing that I hated about Tom Cruise's Lestat is he didn't have a French accent. Now, I don't know what a Frenchman from France sounds like for everyday speaking. I have the Americanized version, but that's what I wanted. And Sam Reed gives that, and he just has range. He has such range. He can be terrifying, he can be manipulative, he can be just absolutely stunning, and you would just eat anything that he would give you, kind of thing. And he can make you cry. Like, he's just amazing. So they did such a great job. And the trailer for season 3, I'm gonna link it down below. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for season 3. Who else? Daniel Malloy is played by, I'm gonna mess up his name again, Eric Bogosian. I don't know. Bogosian? I don't know. It doesn't help that he messes with the interviewers when they interview him on interviews. Obviously on interviews. This is why it was 30 minutes last time. Anyway, he's fantastic. So in the Vampire Chronicles, Daniel Malloy is the interviewer, and he has a part in different things in the Vampire Chronicles. In, I want to say Queen of the Damned On, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. And I don't know if I'm mixing him up with somebody from the Telemasca that plays in both worlds. So I don't, but I'm pretty sure that Daniel is the interviewer. Anyway, one of the things that they changed for the show was the fact that Louis is getting a redo from the interview that happened in the 70s. And they both cannot remember how Daniel walked away, and you know what happened to the interview and things like that. So they're going through it again, and in the time that it's been since they've seen each other, Louis also found journals from Claudia and things like that. So that was something from the Vampire Chronicles later on in the books, that you find out that there were journals and there were things that were collected, and Louis becomes this huge collector of vampire works and stuff. So that was kind of cool. And he also gets really into technology, and that plays into it later on. So that was kind of cool. And they also bring in another character, which you don't know if he's human, if he's just, you know, his assistant. You have no idea who he is. And then you find out that he's Armand, and Armand is a 500-year-old vampire who in the movie was played by Antonio Banderas, which I felt was too old. Oh no. See? Alexa, stop. Alright, I'm giving myself 5 more minutes. Anyway, Antonio Banderas was too old because Armand was supposed to be a teenager. He was supposed to be like an apprentice to painters and stuff. I hated him in the books. But the guy that plays him is Asad Zaman. I knocked off my beautiful horns. Stay up there. Anyway, that's his name. He is fantastic. I hated him. I thought there's this one episode in the 2nd season that threw me for a loop. I was all by myself. I didn't have anybody to talk to. I texted the one friend that I knew watched it, and she was like, yeah, I haven't gotten to this week's. And I'm like, no. So it was an amazing twist. So yeah, he's awesome. And then the last person was Santiago is in the 2nd season, because what they did with Interview with the Vampire with the show is they did part 1, which was them living in New Orleans, and then season 2 was Louis and Claudia living in Paris. And Santiago is he's like the second in command of the coven under Armand, and he is bitter and he has issues, and when Louis comes around he has more issues and he stirs the pot a lot. And Ben Daniels was fantastic. He was fantastic. He was just the perfect villain. He really was. So that was my hopefully fast take. I think I'm still at 20 minutes. So I'm going to stop jabbing my jaws like Jade the Libra says, and I am going to wish you the best week to come, and I will see you soon. Bye.